Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. Just a quiet... It's good to have you back, Brandon. I mean, you were sort of
I was held hostage last week. It was great.
Yeah, we didn't really know what happened to you, but we just knew that you were prevented from coming in. So.
I would like to go ahead and commend our local law enforcement and their overzealousness to shut down every road downtown to protect the marathon runners for the St. Jude Marathon, including roads that had nothing to do with it. But hey, they weren't even on the map that were supposed to be closed down.
Sounds very passive-aggressive. That doesn't sound like you're complimenting
No.
anybody.
I have to say, here's the thing: if you have a law enforcement contingent that can do that and keep it completely shut down for upwards of 5 hours, why do you need all this extra help in the city?
Okay,
but we're not going to get into that.
Technically, you're law enforcement too. So
technically, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we're not talking about that today. Anyway, we're. You called this reimagining the theatrical experience for fun and profit. Well,
yes.
they're going to have to do that, or because the theatrical experience is going away. Let's just be brutally honest.
Which theater?
Yeah.
No, we're talking about movie theaters.
Oh, okay, because I was about to say the regular theater is alive and well.
It's not doing as great as you would think, but
it's got problems. But at least
it's not having the same issues that the movie theaters are having.
Yeah.
All I gotta say is I had a fun experience at the Orpheum recently with a shout out to Kristen over at the Orpheum. I got to see Anne Juliet, and you never think that Shakespeare and the Backstreet Boys would blend well, but it did.
Shakespeare blends well with everything.
Oh, we love Kristen Bennett over there at the Orpheum. Good lady, lots of fun, and
takes good care of us.
She hooked Max up with some free tickets. So
way to go, Max.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to the Orpheum next month to see The Outsiders. So anyway, but that's not what.
Have you seen anything from the musical for The Outsiders? You're going to have a blast, Joe. You're going to love it.
I purposely, I'm trying to go into this as a blank slate because I don't want to know anything. I haven't looked on any YouTube videos.
I've seen a couple of medley performances when they were doing the promotional run beforehand. So good.
Yeah, it looks great. And we all read the book as kids in school. So, but speaking of theatrical experience, before we get to that, I suppose we want to give our 2 cents on the Supergirl trailer that just dropped.
I can give you a whole $1.
Okay. I'm going to let you guys go first because I think we had a different opinion of this trailer. So, but anyway.
This is not your movie.
No, you're not going to.
Here we go again. I'm not the target audience.
No. You should be the target audience because the book, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, is amazing. I
might have read that one.
Well, it's by Tom King. I don't know if you've read it.
I haven't read
that old.
Okay.
But there's only 2 things that I've noticed in that trailer that don't line up perfectly with that story.
Okay.
And that one of them being that Kara's supposed to be celebrating her 21st, not her 23rd. But that doesn't matter.
Who cares?
That's just logistics. But what's the other thing?
The other thing has to do with one of the major antagonists not quite fitting his description, but he looks a lot more menacing now.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about Lobo, which, seeing Momoa as Lobo, even for just a split second in that trailer, I'm so excited for that.
I had to freeze it. Is he going to be in this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Lobo in the story Woman of Tomorrow is a bounty hunter that is tracking that other gang, but also comes after her.
Did they make an animated version of this? Because I thought there was one that I saw. Okay, never mind. But okay. But you're excited for this movie?
I was super excited for it because there is a stark contrast in the comic wise in the characters between Kara and Clark, and what you usually see in media is she's slightly rougher around the edges, but she's still I'm going to save a cat out of a tree, which according, if you actually paid attention to the newspaper that Crypto peed on, that's actually one of the headlines on there. Because that's what she was doing while Superman was stopping a meltdown at a nuclear plant.
I don't know how you could read that fine print, but anyway. Okay,
Because
It wasn't that fine.
you watch the trailer 733
You
times, and
freeze
you
Okay.
pick things out so you can discuss it because your job is about content.
Okay, all right. Well, Allan,
Well, I'm going to pick on Superman for 2 seconds.
here we go.
Not really.
Mr. Backstory.
No, not really.
All right.
Well, you can't talk about Supergirl without what it is not.
Yeah,
All right,
she's not
She
Superman.
has
that's
always been the leftover. Even her series, they just, it's Supergirl.
Yeah.
And you can just stop
Which
there.
if you, in print media, Supergirl's always had her own lavish, amazing backstory, but nobody else likes to touch on it, and we're finally going to get someone to touch it.
Well, and, so Superman this time wasn't my number one complaint about DC is it's not a dark comic.
Okay.
Dark and creepy, dark and creepy, dark and creepy. I am so sick of dark and creepy. Even with Batman, I'm sick of dark and creepy. So we finally had a Superman that actually acted like
Superman.
the guy from another planet that's kind of got his own way of doing things. I really liked the facilitator in Superman, a.k.a. Metamorpho.
Yep.
I love the facilitator. I like that. And I like the fact that she came staggering in like anybody else's middle child. Absolutely not the older child.
Right.
I like the fact that her dog has all of the training and capabilities of almost everybody's pet that I've ever met, except that the fact it can fly through a planet.
Right.
And now we're going to get a movie, and I just love the quips. This is not going to end well for any of you. You're like, all right, here we go. Here we go. She's not being a bully. She's just jacked up. She saw her planet and everything about it get wiped. She's messed up.
And
I'm excited about that.
And honestly, Joe, it's kind of like the same when it came to our conversations about Luke Skywalker and The Last Jedi. This is there's a realism that's added into the PTSD that is involved with you being seen as almost like this Messiah type character, and then you lose everything.
Okay. All right. So that's you. So you guys are feeling optimistic about the Supergirl movie. So all right. Well,
it's going to be fun.
All right. Well, we'll see, and then I'll share my opinion when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. They put on their stormtrooper armor one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just joining us today on the show, we're going to talk about reimagining the theatrical experience for fun and profit, which is, we're talking about the movie theater experience. Yeah. But before that, we were touching on the Supergirl trailer, which you guys are both very excited about. You and Allan are both enthused about it. I don't know. The thing about Supergirl for me is that I've heard her referred to as like, I'm sorry to say, like a B-list character or a second-tier character. I've never thought of her that way. As a matter of fact, there's a great animated movie. Brandon, when did this come out? Like in 2012. It was a Batman and Superman animated movie, and
Batman and Superman Apocalypse, and I thought they did a really interesting job with Supergirl because I think she's got a really complex backstory. Oh, she does. She absolutely does.
Because Clark was a baby when he Kal-El was a baby when he left Krypton, so he has no memory of it. But she does have memories of it. She's got a whole different feeling about losing her planet. It's more devastating for her.
And what's also you think about it. You had a mission. Your mission was to follow your infant cousin to a distant planet to raise him and make sure that he was protected.
Yeah.
And because your ship got knocked off course, you spend all that time in stasis. When you finally get there, he's a grown man who has established himself as as Superman. And you're lost.
Exactly.
You lost everything that was ever important to you. And now the mission that you were to be that you were supposed to lead, the whole protection of the future of Kryptonian society, is you get there and it's like, oh, well, that didn't work out well. You're still a teenager, and the baby you were protecting is like old enough to be your dad, basically.
Kind of makes me think of that plot twist in the movie Interstellar, where Matthew McConaughey is literally younger than his daughter once he gets back to her.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was thinking of, Max, because Interstellar touches on the whole notion of the theory of relativity, like what it would actually, what it looks like at street level if you were experiencing it. Well, these are all super fascinating themes to explore, and it doesn't look like we're getting any of that. That's what's bugging me. Why do they got why does Crypto got to pee on Superman's face? That's very symbolic. I don't like that.
Crypto, first of all, you're wrong. Crypto, like any dog, is taught. Have you ever paper trained a dog?
Yeah.
It don't matter what's on the paper. You don't look down and go, oh, crap. There was a thing about the Pope on the paper.
Please.
I'm going to hell. You don't think that.
You wouldn't put a picture. Okay, would you put a picture of your wife there on the floor?
Well, no, because my
wife was on the newspaper.
My wife's not in the newspaper.
What if she
Secondly,
was?
you know who else is on that same paper?
She is.
There's Supergirl.
Okay, I just symbolically, every director
take
makes
your
a
symbolism
choice.
and shove them up your butt.
I'm just saying.
You're picking it apart and looking for something to be mad about. And the truth of the matter is we are getting a story about a girl who has such PTSD about what happened and her loss and her disconnected from everything that she would rather spend her time away from the planet where she could be a superhero to be able to get drunk and forget her problems, forget her reality. And then what happens? A young girl whose parents were killed comes to her looking for help.
I hope we're going to get that. I'm just saying, based on the trailer, it looks like it's going to be another. I know it's not James Gunn that he wrote it, but he still probably has his fingerprints on this. His stuff's played out, in my opinion. The Guardians stuff
played out. You're also doing that same thing everybody else is like, oh my God, it's a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff.
Feels like it.
So is Star Wars for all intents and purposes, but strangely enough, that's 30 years beforehand.
Anyway.
I think that you just don't seem to understand tropism and the fact that these are things that sell. Woman of Tomorrow, the only thing different, like I said before, in Woman of Tomorrow is the fact that Kara is 2 years older than she was in that book. She's got the same mission she's going to have. She's got the same quips that she has in that book. She's got the same attitude. She's going to protect this girl who's going after these guys who killed her parents, carrying the sword that killed her parents. And I'd probably give him more away in the plot right now. That's literally the first 20 pages of the book, if anything. And it's an 8-issue series, I believe. And I didn't even have to, it's not in the trailer. You know why? Because every time you put all that stuff in the trailer, the people like you come back and go, they gave everything away in the trailer.
I missed having Brandon here.
Mm-hmm. I can tell.
This is good stuff.
I mean, here's the thing. It's one thing to go in there and go, I don't really like the whole ragtag space adventure. I don't care about marauders in space. That's one thing. But when you start acting like this isn't part of the source material since long before, and you know what doesn't actually match its source material? Guardians of the Galaxy in comic form does not match his movie at all.
At all.
Because you read the comic, Allan.
I am probably one of the few people that remember it originally. And Yondu had a real hairdo.
Yeah, the Reavers and wore a loincloth. The Reavers you see in at the end of 2, Stallone's team and everything, and that you see again in 3, those were the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing, though. Yeah. I will, in praise of this, I have to say I did love that moment when she said, oh, this isn't going to end. This is going to end badly. But I did like the expression on her face, and I wanted to see what was about to happen. So I'll give them credit on that. That was a cool moment.
You can't see it now. You have to go to the theater to see it.
That's fine. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm not saying I'm just saying think just like in Ant-Man, there was all sorts of opportunities to explore the idea of like infinite regress and all these philosophical and interesting themes that you don't have to beat people over the head, but you can incorporate it. I just hope we're going to get some of what makes Supergirl a really compelling character. But I hope we're going to get some of that in there.
Here's the thing, even when you come down to it, when it's all said and done, these are popcorn movies.
Why does it have to be? Why does it have to? Why can't it?
Because they want to make money.
Because nobody wants to go sit in a theater with a bunch of rude effers when they would have a philosophical theater experience.
You put 5. You can put 10 seconds of something and add depth to. I disagree. I strongly disagree. I think you can add quality.
You've been
depth.
wrong a lot.
Okay. Anyway, well, this is why
There's a lot of depth in that story, and they've already said it is that story.
Brandon, it's good to have you back.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
We couldn't even convince you that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Oh, come on. That millionaire playboy, he's too busy socializing at cocktail parties and managing the affairs of the Wayne Foundation.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass.
That word "friends" is carrying a lot of weight right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we missed having Brandon, and if we don't, we have disagreements on the trailer that we saw for Supergirl, and I mean,
I think one thing we can really agree on though is, we all want to see it, but I don't know if we really want to go to a theater and see it.
Well, that's the thing. The theatrical experience, as we've said for years, we've been chronicling this for years. It's definitely on a downward trajectory. And even before, do you think it was that way before COVID? COVID really just sort of was the final.
It was way on that way, way before COVID.
Okay.
Basically, ever since the day where it got to the point, and I mean, this is going to sound bad, but I miss the fact that ushers used to have power.
Like if they walked in and somebody was on their phone, they could get them to stop.
Right.
Or kick them out.
It's like now it's like, it's like some 17-year-old kid who walks in there, sees a bunch of people throwing popcorn back and forth, and he's like, I'm not paid enough for this. And it's true. He's not paid enough, despite the fact that we're paying astronomical prices to go sit in this dank, dark room half the time with our feet stuck to the floor. They smell like, they haven't cleaned them in months. Now, I'm not saying that's about all of them. The Paradiso tends to be pretty good. The Powerhouse downtown is really good. But if you just want to sneak in to one of the old theaters and watch something, it's not a great experience. And I know we've talked about prices and concessions and all this stuff before, but the truth of the matter is that as much as we can say, yep, theaters are dying and they deserve it, we can't afford to lose the communal movie watching experime.
Well, that's why I look at Allan, because Allan doesn't seem to mind losing that. But
well, no,
I'd have already dozed it. However,
me and Allan actually this kicked off a week or so ago.
Yeah,
me and Allan had a discussion about some of the awesome new technology that they keep bringing out. You see them at CES and stuff like that, like these giant, 18-foot tall OLED screens that basically roll up, get put in a poster tube, and taken away at the end of the night.
Isn't the big complaint here? Isn't the big thing is that maybe just in the past, even back, not that long ago, there was a sense of decorum at a movie theater. It would never occur to you to be shouting and disrupting and bothering everybody around you because you'd get kicked out.
Well, in the past, there was a decorum about anywhere you went.
I think that's what the problem is.
All right, the FAA just had to issue an edict that said stop wearing pajamas to the airport.
Yeah, what's up with that? Exactly.
All right, when the FAA has to tell you wear clothes. All right, let's try again.
No.
We're going to get on an airplane and travel.
No.
Please wear clothing.
We're not going to talk about that garbage because Sean Duffy wouldn't know how to fix the friggin' air travel industry if it bit him on the left cheek.
That's true.
The man's got the brain capacity of a banana slug if the banana slug had brain damage. Just like everybody else in this administration.
But you shouldn't be wearing pajamas to an airport.
Tell me why not? Your pajamas are just
all right, when that plane goes down, damn it, I'm wearing high-tech clothing.
All right, we're talking about the theater.
No, I was going to say, no, you're not. You're wearing exactly what you wear now.
High-tech clothing.
All right.
Dockers.
What did you have to say, Max?
I was just going to say kind of a counterpoint to the idea of like the communal experience. Well, even if you lose the movie theater, you're not necessarily losing the communal experience because think about how many people tuned in back in the day to see who shot JR. You could still have a communal experience even if from a distance.
Maybe after the fact.
That's not communal viewing. Communal viewing is getting together in a huge group and going and enjoying something. Just because everybody in your community watched the final episode of MASH doesn't make it communal viewing.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about a bunch of people getting together in their floaties out on a lake watching Jaws. There's something amazing about these these giant inflatable screens that you see out in the park, on a Saturday night where they're having family movie night. And this is one of the things that kind of galvanized the discussion me and Allan were having the other day, is that these screens, they're expensive, don't get me wrong, but you've got these screens that are so mobile at this point because you can just roll them up and take them away after a thing. You could go and you could invite various food trucks. You could invite the neighborhood. You could basically pay $5 a head. You get a distributor's license through somebody like Netflix or Amazon Prime. You set up, because let's just be honest, thanks to Starlink and things like that, not that I'm endorsing Starlink, you can get Wi-Fi in the middle of the woods at this point.
So, Joe, it kind of seems like it's sort of something that you sung the praises of recently, and that's the Christmas parade in your neighborhood. So it seems like the solution is rather than making the movie theater industry bigger, make it smaller and I'm going to farm it out to allow local communities to do it better.
In other words, maybe make it something where it's expected that this is an event and there's a certain decorum involved. The reason, Brandon, you and I shared a theatrical experience that really just made me recognize how important the communal experience is, and that was opening day of Black Panther.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Dude,
there were busloads of people
come. How many people were there? And
it wasn't just about the being in the theater. It was what was going on beforehand and then what was happening after. I'm like, this institution, that alone made me think how cool it is. And
you think about things like the stuff that they do out at the Botanical Gardens with the concert series.
Right.
And you think about things like, Greek Fest, Italian Fest. We have these things where people get together. There's, yes, there's conversation. There's sharings of ideas. There's people who will never talk to one another, but man, do they find a way to have a conversation over how much, that tiramisu was amazing, or over the Greek Fest, the baklava. We have that kind of communal event, but we have it in a situation where we've all gotten together to see Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah.
And we don't do it inside a theater that's going to charge us all an arm and a leg for the ticket, let alone stale popcorn and flat soda.
I was just looking at our thing here. It says reimagining the theatrical experience for fun and profit. Well, we better do that when we come back. We better offer some solutions.
I have one.
Okay, when we
come back. That's where we've been going.
Okay, when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Those guys are dorks.
Yes, but they're my dorks.
Okay, and welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we've taken it upon ourselves to solve the problem of the dying industry of the movie theater, which basically is reimagining the theatrical experience for fun and profit. Right. And we've got ideas. I think, here's what I'll say, because history always plays out in a different way than we think. At the moment, we think the theatrical experience is dying. In 10 years from now, I wouldn't be surprised if something much better and much more enjoyable emerges out of this crisis. So,
all I got to say is I'm open to investment.
Okay,
I can make you lots of money.
We're fixing to tell you exactly what it's going to be, and it'll be about 8 years.
Talk to me.
Well, all right, let's just scrap the caddy.
Scrap the caddy?
Let's just scrap the caddy. It's a quote from Clint Eastwood. The orangutan is now going to take the car apart.
Okay, that's a deep cut.
Which means you ain't going to put it back together. Okay, so what we have built up a system based on a certain series of events. And I think 2024 and 2025 has proven we don't care how much you spent making the movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's too bloody expensive. I can take myself and 4 other people to dinner for the price of me and the wife going to a movie theater.
Actually,
I'm going to go to dinner. Plain and simple.
I think that's good. That's a damn good analogy.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I can take my entire, the little friendship group
We've done it.
We do it all the time.
Okay.
And do we go to the theater? No. Okay.
Wait, now we've
go
got
get Chinese
solutions
food.
here, right?
We do. I'm
Okay.
heading there now. All right.
Okay.
You and I just got through talking on Tool Talk about changing technology and updating with the times.
Okay.
Let's take a theater and let's just say no. Just say no. All right. Because the movies that are bombing in the theater are turning around and becoming big hits. Where? In your living room.
Like
Plain and
Frankenstein.
simple.
Well, of course, that didn't have time to be.
They
a big
didn't
hit.
bother with the theater. They knew
Yeah.
what they had. They knew it was in your living room. However, what about a horror movie club?
Yeah.
What about a book club? Think about a book club, but now let's make it a media event. How many people would go see Game of Thrones again in the theater?
Okay, I see
It
what
never
you're saying.
showed up at the theater.
Oh,
Well, you know what I mean.
It did.
You work with me, Brandon. Just work with me a second.
okay, yeah.
Fundamentally, these were all in your living room events.
Right.
I hate to say it. How about a Star Wars book club where all the things that were in your living room could now be on a big screen if that's what you wanted to go see? And we now have the screens that make them portable, that make them lightweight. We now have more than enough streaming capability. We don't have to rely on the Wi-Fi and all that nonsense. You could have events now. You could have whole themes over a weekend or over a week where Wicked just came out. Well, how many other Broadway productions are out there? Okay, great. Let's do it.
So basically, what you have is you're getting together a traveling road show
Bingo.
that never has to leave your hometown.
Well, here's what okay, maybe we're talking about the same thing, but when I'm visualizing is because we face a similar crisis in the convention world or something.
Oh,
where,
absolutely.
And so here's what I'm envisioning. I'm envisioning, you almost might call it a complex where there are some theaters there's some movie theaters in this wing, and then in that wing, there's actual stage theater. You might have a 500-seat theater over here, and over here is meeting space and event space where when you have your Game of Thrones marathon, well, you're gonna also go to the Game of Thrones dinner, and you're gonna go to the Game of Thrones vendor room over there.
Now imagine that.
Imagine all that as an entertainment complex.
Imagine all that on a nice little island that we could literally walk to from downtown.
I think I know what you're talking about. So there you go.
I mean, we've already got it.
Is there enough parking there?
Yes, and
Okay.
and you could spread out and we could also bring basically business back to downtown.
Because it might be that there isn't movies every day there. There's movies when it's called for, but when there's not a movie going on, there's a theatrical production or there's an event going on or something. And
A food truck rally.
a food truck rally or something.
Kind of makes me think of what the Sphere is doing with the Wizard of Oz.
Bingo.
They are very much part of the inspiration behind this concept.
Okay. So it's not scrapping it. It's just
Well,
No,
it's-
you
it's-
you scrap the theatrical experience for what it is
as
right
it
now.
is now. Yeah.
Well,
We're
that's
talking
why I say we got to scrap the caddy, but we're not necessarily losing anything as we are just admitting what we're doing.
Yeah. And of course, there'd have to be good food served there as well. But Brandon, I'm just
So
thinking
there's
of
an amazing truck coming in the next year or so called the macaroni truck.
And Brandon, how many people at your house for a wrestling night?
At least 8.
There you go.
Well, Brandon, I was just thinking earlier we were talking about our experience with the Black Panther release. I didn't want to leave.
No.
I mean, there was nowhere to hang out except the parking lot, but you had 500 people coming in and 500. So if there was a meeting area or if there was a
Right.
Black Panther
There's
Q&A afterwards or a little party,
you
we would
meet,
have been there.
You meet over in a
Yeah.
ballroom. The
Yeah.
200 of you that just watched that movie during that showing, you go over there, the handful that want to, and we have a discussion.
Yeah. Yeah. Or a themed party. But yeah. I think this is a good answer to
Concessions.
it.
Go hit the food court
Amazing
and the food trucks
spices.
and go have a seat and relax and chill.
It's kind of like how certain things, like comic book stores that we know, okay, that they've had to adapt to the current business model. So they've added like a party room, or they add
Or,
something where
video
they have
games
other sources
or-
of revenue coming in.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
I think this would be a cool idea, but
It kind of makes me think of, again, my experience at the Orpheum Theater, because now they have like themed for those who want to go to the bar, they have like themed drinks based on the show that's there. Like they had a thing called the Juliet for for people who wanted that particular cocktail.
And you know what? You might pay a little more for this, but you'd wind up getting a lot of residual entertainment out of it. It would be an actual evening out or maybe a day out.
But that's what's amazing about it is you get a full day and probably for less than what you're paying for the utilities to keep up the venue because you're just taking a part of the venue.
All right, so dear developers out there, this is your call to action.
Actually, we're looking for investors.
All right, investors, give us a call.
Give us a call.
We got to get out of here, you guys. The show's over, and we're leaving. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I'm Brandon Olmstead, and I'll admit it, I'm not ready to leave.